Okay, so this is your underlying energy, the Six of Cups. So totally love the Six of Cups. It talks about, that's a soulmate card in itself, but this usually talks about the past, remembering a time of happiness. And underneath that, we have the Six of Swords. So I think there was a lot of seriousness that was taking place at one point. And I think some people may be, not rigid, but they have this sort of mindset that they find it very well. They don't find it, but other people find it very hard to talk to them, communicate with them, because their mindset is so stickler, right? They're not looking to compromise, not looking to change it. It's their way of the highway sort of deal. And I kind of get this feeling that this situation is like, this situation is kind of like similar to the past, where somebody may have had a situation or had a period where they couldn't communicate with their partner, or they just felt like their point of view wasn't really seen very clearly. Now, the King of Swords sees all views and all sides. He's not subjective in that sense of not being able to hear someone out. But the King of Swords to me gives me that impression that somebody is very serious and very staunch on their belief system, staunch on what they believe. And I think they take things, like I said, very seriously. Now, the fact that this is the Six of Cups, it could be that you were dating an Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra in the past, or this is somebody that was very, again, very stern. At the same time, this could be that you guys were very, very clear on who you are, very clear in your truths, very clear on your moral code, and you're not looking, and that made you very, confident in yourself and helped you connect with who you are a little bit more. Now, going to go ahead and start with the mindset of this relationship, or how this dynamic is going right now for the next couple weeks. I typically view the side as you guys, Taurus, but feel free to oscillate the sides if this side does not resonate, okay? Or pick the other side if it doesn't resonate. So you have the Five of Swords here. That indicates thinking about yourself. The Five of Swords can be very selfish, not in the sense of in a bad way, but it can be that you're looking out for your needs and your needs only, because of course, who else is going to do it, right? Who else is going to really be looking out for your best interests at heart? So I already see two different types of mindsets. Somebody that's looking to, either, looking at the situation, trying to get, what they need, trying to make sure that they get their ends meet, making sure that they're covered and they're being considered at all times, considering themselves over other people's, feelings, emotions, or needs. And this other person here is looking to cooperate, trying to cooperate. Now, guys, remember, this side doesn't have to be you. This could be someone else. This could be someone else here, right? This could be you on the other side, but somebody here could be trying to work together, trying to, figure out where you guys can go as far as the future goes, But the other person here has the Five of Swords, so automatically I'm getting the sense that somebody's trying to make sure that they don't get bamboozled, they don't get left out in the cold, they don't get, left hanging, and always kind of compromising and looking to kind of make things work. Now, make things work for everyone else but themselves, right? They want to make sure that they get something out of it, right? This is like, well, I'm going to make sure that I'm covered, what I mean? Like, I'm being taken care of, I'm being recognized, I'm being, loved on. At the same time, this could be this person is compromising too. It's weird, right, with this Five of Swords. But I kind of get this feeling that it's really their new approach to handling situations, since since at one period they may have been left out in the cold, or maybe they may not have been considered. Now, the other person, like I said before, is definitely looking to compromise. The Three of Pentacles indicates that. And I feel like the reason why they're looking to compromise, looking to work together, and trying to see how this relationship will, grow, prosper together, they're very observant. They're not necessarily making any moves or gestures. They're very passive about this situation. They're kind of seeing how you go and how you are. The challenge, as you can see, is the King of Wands, and I want to touch on this a little bit later, but I just want to really recognize something. The King of Swords, King of Wands, they both are very strong in their in their sense of self. They're very similar in the sense of being the top dog, if that makes sense, being the alpha. And even the King of Cups can be very soft, and the King of Pentacles, he's the alpha too, but in the sense of maintaining things and taking care of people, taking care of his loved ones. The King of Wands, King of Swords, that situation is more of what am I getting out of it? I am the person that's the most important here. And I'm not saying that this person has an ego or a complex, but I think that there is an ego that is causing this relationship to be a bit difficult, or this is what comes up to be the challenge for you and your partner at this moment, dealing with egos. Because again, this person has had a period where they may have not been, considered before, haven't been recognized. Typically people don't just come out the woodworks and be like, I'm going to be selfish about everything. I'm going to make sure that I got my way. And I think that this person here is really just trying to make sure that they are considered, when it comes to love, it comes to relationships, it comes to work, because they may not have been that, considered before. Maybe they have been with somebody that wasn't trying to consider them. And because this person is very passive and trying to kind of get an idea of where this relationship is going to go, I feel like this person is dictating where this path is going to take, not realizing that this person here should probably make sure this person is trying to, is on their same wavelength, right? This person is not very observant of the other people. They're tunnel visioning their goals. This person's focusing on what they want to do, and that's it. Not saying that's a bad thing, but they are definitely doing what they want to do, and that's it. They're not looking to, compromise or work with other people. As you see, it's very solo-y kind of energy here. And they're, the mindset may be on a ruthless path, meaning like they're not looking to, like I said, compromise, work together, in the sense of like, as long as it's along, what they want to do, they're not going to try and sometimes they won't hear it. And I feel like it's because somebody is really trying to get to a certain area, to get to a certain place. At the same time, I kind of get this vibe that someone here just may be reacting to a certain situation because they don't have a lot of information, because you do have the Page of Swords is what brought you two together. Now this person here, I feel like, is definitely trying to get more information. They're holding back, of course, right? This is them holding back, and they're trying to kind of gauge to see whether or not this is comfortable enough for them to be outside the comfort zone. At the same time, I kind of get this feeling that with the Four of Pentacles, they're actually taking this moment to reevaluate their what they believe is good for them and what they believe isn't, right? What they believe is something that is worth pursuing, what isn't. Now this other person here is trying to figure out what is, it's the same thing, pretty much, what is worth pursuing for them, because they have taken a period in time to reflect on what they wanted, right? They took time to reflect on what they wanted, and they're going after that thing right now. So what brought you two together, it was blunt truths, blunt communication perhaps, but mostly I kind of get the sense that there was a spark of some sort of, a spark of some sort of communication, but in the sense of like getting to know each other, because you guys find each other intriguing. I kind of get the sense, but I get this also the sense that this really, what is what the foundation lies regarding you and your partner, or you and this soulmate here, is that you guys both are good at getting more information, or you guys both find yourselves in a situation where you need to get more information regarding the relationship or about each other. But the thing that's keeping each other right now, the challenges that you're facing right now, is the King of Wands. It could be the ego. It could be, authenticity. It could be, being yourself, and taking action is the challenge, especially if their advice is taking a rest. And your underlying energy is talking about reminiscing. I think that this person is kind of on a hyperdrive as well, because the reason why they're doing all of this has a lot to do with resting and taking time out and to breathe and to just relax. And I feel like they're not relaxing, while this person here is kind of just allowing things to be. What's weird though is that this person here is holding things back. They're not communicating, they're not sharing their ideas, they're not sharing their thoughts, and it says so here with the Queen of Cups anyway. But with the Four of Cups coming up, that definitely lets me know that this person's not saying anything, and it's because they're trying to get a better idea as to what they are, as to what's going on in this relationship, what they are wanting, how this relationship will go about, what it is everyone's strengths and weaknesses. So they're playing the passive role, not because, they don't want to do anything, or they're not aggressive, they're not alpha, but they're more of like, they're taking this time out to rest, to reflect, to really get some more information, and to really, again, reevaluate what they want, or to reevaluate their own value system. This person, on the other hand, I feel like they're trying to make things happen, make things work way more than they should right now, because they haven't gotten the time to really reflect on what they want, or really take time to heal from a situation that got them to this point in the first place, if there was a situation that got them to this point. I think, clarity, being open, honesty definitely brought you two together. But when it comes to just to going after something with confidence and pride, I think that there is a bit, it's hard to have some pride in something when, you feel like you're at a loss at the get-go. So I think this person has, a lot of stuff on their plate regarding, feeling like they can have certain things or feeling like they can do certain things. Because again, they may have had someone in their life, or maybe they just feel like they need to have something their way, or it's not going to be a cohesive kind of thing. That's not balanced either. So I have no idea what's going on with this individual on this side here, other than the fact that this person is really, really adamant about having their own way. Right? So let's see what's going on. Let's wrap up this reading here, see what wisdom of the oracle cards that we get for this. Come to the edge, and that talks about taking a risk. Things happen in life where you're not gonna quite know the outcome of everything, so you have to kind of take a risk. And it's interesting that come to the edge comes up when this person is really trying to have their way or the highway, sort of deal. I see the Emperor, I see the King of Wands as the Emperor right now because of this Five of Swords, but I don't know. I don't think this is necessarily this person trying to be aggressive. They're thinking of themselves, not thinking about how their actions are affecting the other person. But this doesn't help that this person on this side here is not communicating it. And I would think that the reason why you two came together was because of the Page of Swords, blunt communication, openness. Now, if that's the case, that both of you guys are communicating, right? But I feel like this may be cultivation of ideas, cultivating of one's truth, getting in touch with oneself and one's ideas and one's self-awareness. I think that's really what the Page of Swords is coming from, and not necessarily communication, because we already have someone here that's not communicating. Someone that's holding back, someone that's not, that's not breaking free from a comfort zone. It doesn't mean that they're not trying to. It just means that this person is holding back, and you can tell that with the Queen of Cups. She doesn't communicate. She doesn't say anything to anybody. As a matter of fact, her cup is covered. Only she knows what she wants. Only she knows what her heart's desire is, and only she knows who that cup truly belongs to and who she really wants to give that to. So therefore, she's waiting for the person to come in. She doesn't go after them. She knows that person will come because she's in tune to her intuition. She's aware of her emotions. She knows how she feels, but this person's also holding back at the same time. And I think it's, again, because this person is trying to figure out if this relationship has a future, if there's any future there, it's at all with this individual. What's everyone's weakness and strengths. And I think that's, it's interesting because I think there's a relationship here that defines, not defines, but it goes beyond this lifetime. Or there is with the Six of Cups. Or maybe everyone's remembering a time in which you're happy, and they're trying to figure out if there's a possibility for there to be a, to get to that point again, right? If there is any hope for there to be happiness in their lives again. And I think this is why this person is kind of like, I have to have it this way, I have to have it that way. And the Five of Swords doesn't have to be that aggressive. It can be just someone that is, trying to make something happen, trying to get things, make sure that things doesn't, turn out in a certain way, so they have a certain truth, certain way of doing things, and it's not flexible, right? And, it's conflicting with other people's, ideas, conflicting with other people's, moral code, sense of truth, sense of self. This is conflicting here, right? The Five of Swords, the Five of anything is conflict, it's change. And I feel like this person may be having a mental conflict right now regarding what they believe in, because where they're going right now, how they've been going about, their life, how they've been going about this relationship has ended, right? So the way of going forward is no longer the way. that you see, as you see with the Two of Wands, the road has ended. So there is no way they can move forward with the way they've been acting, with the way that they've been thinking. And it's not because it's bad or anything. It's that way is just no longer the way. So they have to pick another direction. I think that's why there's a lot of conflict in their mind area, because even though they want to continue to go forward, they can't. And I think they want to go backwards, which is why they have the Six of Cups, but they can't do that either. You can only move forward in life. You can never, you go back, but, that means that there's some unfinished business. And that going back does talk about taking a risk, right? I think this person wants to go back because they wanted to reevaluate and rethink things. They want to reconnect with themselves. They want to come up with a conclusion that truly makes sense to them. And I don't feel any real aggression from this individual. I don't think this person's trying to be mean. I do think this person is stubborn, but they recognize that their stubbornness right at this moment is not benefiting them at this point. And what they have to do is kind of come to the edge, right? Take a leap of faith, walk towards the edge, do something that they are not necessarily familiar with to get to a place where there's, potential happiness, right? Because where they have to go may not be where they want to, but it could get them to where they want to be. And they could truly, help them to become more, more flexible, not in the sense of that they need to be, but that, they don't feel like there's only one way or the highway, if that makes sense. It reminds them that they can live their life the way that they want to live it anyway, not just one.